On the topic of innovation, I often hear from all kinds of people throughout the trade that lineworks never changed in 100 years. It's always been the same. There's no innovation. Everything's done the same. I call BS on that. Maybe it's not so in your face, and some of the things we do, processes and tools, things like that, are still the same from 100 years ago. You think of some of the hot stick tools have not changed a lot in the last 50 years. But there is still a lot of innovating happening. And here's a couple of great quotes I like from a guy called Stephen Bartlett. Stephen Bartlett is an entrepreneur, and he also runs the very famous podcast called Diary of CEO. If you haven't listened to it, go listen to that podcast. It's awesome. But here's a couple quotes from Stephen Bartlett. Innovation comes from those who dare to challenge the status quo, not from those who simply accept it. The most successful individuals or companies are those that innovate, not because they have to, but because they are constantly driven by a desire to make things better. And I don't know about you guys out there, but I've worked with a ton of linemen, and I think it's like in a lineman's core being to constantly innovate. I think about some of these guys I worked with that they would constantly be messing with tools and tweaking them and trying to make things better or make things work for them in a better way or make the job a little quicker, not by trying to make it unsafe, but by trying to tweak the tools or the process to shave off that hair of time to make them more productive or make it go quicker or make it a little easier on their bodies. I just think innovation is something that's in us. And that's my take on innovation in the trades. Let's hear from some of my guests. I've had some amazing guests on the show that have innovated products themselves or had ideas and love this topic of innovation. So let's hear from them. I hear this all the time. The grid hasn't changed in 100 years. Power lines have never changed. It's the same as it always has been because they see it that way. We see it that way. We see it that way because we still go out and set a wooden pole, put a wooden cross arm on it, and put, porcelain glass or, rubber insulators on. And it looks to us like nothing changes sometimes.
Right.
So from your side of things and from the technology side, when you talk about the grid changing and improving the grid, what are you talking about? And what are some of these technologies that are being used today?
If you look now at the control room of the electrical utility or ISO, it looks like a NASA, control center. I mean, it's really amazing what technology you have, how you can control the grid remotely. Technology has significantly improved. You have all the, devices. We used to have mechanical relays. There are all microprocessor relays that have, great functionality and so on. You can monitor things. There are, technologies that are significantly different than were just a few years ago. And people used to say that, if Edison and Tesla would come back, they would say nothing has changed, But I can tell you, if you look into now what is in the control rooms and how things are operating, it's significantly changed. There is no doubt about it.
There's a thing called a subpelvic strap. This is nerding out a little bit in fall protection, but underneath your butt cheeks, there's a horizontal strap. And that should sit right at your butt cheeks because that's the biggest muscle in your body. If you impact your fall protection equipment, that's going to absorb a bunch of the load. And that's what we've done with our horizontal leg straps, is that subpelvic strap takes most of that load when you fall into your harness.
Interesting.
So yeah, there's a lot of science behind fall protection. A lot of guys think, hey, here's my harness, here's my lanyard, I'm going to go to work. But there's a lot of science behind it, and there's a lot of testing.
The energized work, it's so planned and precise, everything's calculated, everything's, that's why I think the energized work, the energized work is safer because we take the time to plan it and we calculate it. We would sit there, me and him would go look at a structure and we'd talk about it half a day and calculate tensions and bisects and forces and what size slings we need or shackles or anything like that. We would take the time and all go through it. And it's crucial to do that. And I think even in the de-energized world, that should be a thing because, you know, so if something happens, it happens quick and you can't plan for that.
We don't just enter a space, like we come in to disrupt a space. So we have to work cross-functioning with our product teams, with our channel teams, like from a program marketing perspective. What is our plan to come in and own it? Not just come in and bring our bag of goods that we can sell. And that's what's, I think, going to be fun over the next couple of years based off what Mike's built.
Yeah, and kind of like what we did with Power, like go back to 2015, you know, Sarno, what we've talked about last time is, you know, no one really, well, people knew the brand, but they didn't really associate the brand with the power utility industry. And now it's kind of, hopefully kind of synonymous. So what we got to do there is do the same thing, is don't put our toe in the water when we go after gas utility, jump in head first, and let's get after it in a big way.
Okay, guys, I hope you like these recaps. I encourage you to leave your favorite quote in the comments. I love reading them. I love quotes. I'm a big fan of quotes, and actually work these more into the pod. Maybe I'll do that. While I got you here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Love you. Peace.